Welcome back to the Birdhouse Dynasty Show, NFL March Madness. And tonight we're going to talk about just where is Aaron Rodgers going to sign, some under the radar free agent signings and who they helped in fantasy football, who's left available out there in free agency. And we're going to start off with a signing that actually happened. That would be Cooper Kupp on Friday, signing with the divisional rivals, the Seattle Seahawks. And so this obviously gives quite a bump to newly acquired quarterback Sam Darnold, gives him some nice stability there. We were all wondering what was going to happen in Seattle. Are they rebuilding here? They get rid of DK. What is going on? Is JSN going to be getting 200 targets here and Jake Bobo getting 100 targets? No. They had a better plan. They are ready to rock and roll in Seattle. They signed Dexter Lawrence from the Cowboys to a 4-year deal. And then they bring in savvy vet Cooper Kupp. So what does this mean exactly? Well, you've all watched Puka Nacua perform pretty well over the last couple of seasons, right? Opposite of Cooper Kupp, and Puka's averaged just under 10 targets a game in his 2 years. So JSN had 137 targets last year. I don't think that's going to be hurt at all. JSN finished around wide receiver 18 last season, depending on your scoring format. But as we all saw in the second half of the year, when DK went down for a few games, JSN's production started to rise. He not only was getting those short A-dot targets, but also some nice intermediate routes. I think that JSN runs a very similar route tree to Puka Nacua, and I think this is just huge for Sam Darnold's dynasty value. Many were trying to get a first for him, late first, before the Cooper Kupp signing. Now, I think that is a legitimate price. I mean, do you want Sam Darnold or Bryce Young right now? I don't know. I kind of actually lean towards Sam Darnold, right? So, if you like Bryce Young, fine. They're all in that quarterback 2 giant tier. It starts around quarterback 10 to 25, right? And so that's where Sam Darnold is. And I think his value is right around there. Being only age 27 keeps his value up, as opposed to, say, like Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith is 32 years old. Now, I do love the landing spot in the trade from Seattle to Las Vegas for Geno Smith. I think he's a solid game manager, and that's exactly what Pete Carroll wanted. As far as fantasy-wise, I don't know that he's going to put you over the top, but depending on how you decide to roster construct, Geno could be your decent quarterback 2 if you've got an elite, tier 1 Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels type as your QB1. Throw Jalen Hurts into that mix as well. Geno is not terrible as your QB2. Ideally, he's probably your QB3, though. But again, that depends on your format as a 10-team, 12-team, 14-team, right? So in the larger leagues, Geno's more than adequate as your QB2. Then moving on in Seattle to the other spots, we don't really know. I think Noah Fant is not going to get cut, and he'll be back. So he should be solid there with Sam Darnold. And then the running backs, Cooper Kupp is a sneaky good blocker at wide receiver. This this signing just helps the Seattle offense as a whole, thus should create more red zone opportunities, thus more touchdown opportunities for Kenny Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I would definitely lean Kenny Walker in that argument still. And so I think Kenny Walker's got a good double-digit touchdown upside. Zach Charbonnet's production obviously will depend on the health of Kenny Walker. But this I think does actually help Kenneth Walker as well, sneakily. So don't hesitate going out there after Kenneth Walker. All right. So we'll move along here. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe if you like the content I've been throwing your way. Matt English and I have been pounding out episodes this week. It's been an amazing week, this first week of free agency. We've still got a few free agents that I'll touch on that are out there and available, ready to be signed. But who knows? Some of those guys might not get signed until after the NFL draft, especially the running backs. But the wide receivers, I think, will get signed. Before that, though, I want to get to some of the under the radar kind of sneaky signings that we may have not noticed just because we're focused so much on the skill players. You might not have realized what the Chicago Bears have actually done. And that is just solidified their offensive line for quarterback Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson came in to Chicago at the end of the season, signed up and wanted to get that offensive line strong. That was the strength over in Detroit. And rather than waiting to try and develop more talent through the draft, Ben Johnson went out, got 2 new guards and a center, and solidified the strength of that Bears O-line. And so that should help Caleb stay in the pocket a little bit more, let Rome Odunze get deeper, or not necessarily deeper, but give Caleb time to actually hit Rome Odunze on the deeper routes. He was the one stuck running more of the fly patterns last season when Keenan Allen was around, but now without Keenan Allen, likely, I doubt he re-signs in Chicago. You should see more underneath routes for Rome this season, but he'll still continue to run some deep routes, as will DJ Moore. I don't know that you're going to see as many targets funneled to one guy like Amon-Ra was in Detroit, because I think DJ Moore and Rome Odunze have a similar skill set, right? DJ Moore has obviously been doing it longer in the NFL, but I think that we're looking at a primed breakout opportunity for Rome Odunze. So don't be afraid to go out and acquire him. I know his price is still pretty high because most of his owners that may have drafted him last season in their rookie drafts probably still want to hang on to him and see what this guy's got. It wasn't like he was cheap last year. He was one of the top 8 picks in most rookie drafts. You took him ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. in most drafts, definitely ahead of Xavier Worthy, unless you bought the hype of, a 4.2 40-yard dash and double counted that and moved Xavier Worthy up to wide receiver 3. I don't know who would do that, but some people might have. Anyway, Rome is still, at least to me, he's still more talented than Ladd McConkey, put it that way. Okay. Ladd, though, was really the best option there in LA. And that's why he was funneled so much work from Justin Herbert. Whereas Rome Odunze was fighting, like I said, Keenan Allen and DJ Moore for targets. And so he had much tougher competition. And Rome was left running those fly patterns a lot of the games. And so that's why he didn't see quite as many targets as Ladd McConkey did rookie season. But Rome definitely should be getting much more quality targets this year. And we should see a bump. Maybe we'll even get a bump like JSN had. I mean, who knows? If DJ Moore doesn't play the whole season, then Rome's going to be the guy for weeks that DJ Moore misses. So I'm looking forward to seeing that because I do have a couple of Rome Odunze shares. I didn't go ape shit over him. I tried to spread it out and have a good, portfolio of the rookies last season, of the top 8 rookies last year. I think, Caleb Williams is really the only one I didn't end up owning, which was fine by me based on his performance. But those signings has me intrigued, and now I may want to buy low on Caleb, so to speak, because he still has that talent that could get him to be a top 10 quarterback for the future in the NFL. So, don't be afraid to go after the Bears players because they're doing the right things in Chicago now. Now it's just a matter of them putting it all together on the field. Next up, another under the radar signing. This is a skill player, but it was the Bucks signing Chris Godwin. They also re-signed their guard, but Chris Godwin's re-signing. It's not just the fact that Godwin gets to stay in the same offense. This helps Baker Mayfield. Okay, they are now not obligated to sort of draft a wide receiver in the top 3 rounds, right? So now you have Jalen McMillan moved back down to the number 3 role, and he got a lot of experience last year as the number 2 wideout when Chris Godwin went out for half the season. So now that he's got that experience, you've got Mike Evans, of course, and so all the boys are back, and Baker's there. I don't know that he's going to put up quite as good of a season as he did last season, but still, I mean, at his price, he is worth acquiring for sure. And so that is a sneaky value that you may not have realized that actually happened by Chris Godwin re-signing there in Tampa. All right. So after that, some of the wide receivers that are still available out there, sneaky good, definitely Keenan Allen. All right. I think that Keenan Allen, though same age as DeAndre Hopkins, I think he still definitely has more left in the tank. Keenan Allen, to me, is someone who could age similar to Larry Fitzgerald and still put up some good solid seasons when Keenan Allen wasn't injured last season. As I just mentioned about Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen stole a lot of targets. There were many weeks where he was the top targeted Chicago Bear. And, there is just a plethora of teams out there that could use another wide receiver. Most teams run 3 wide receiver sets the majority of their plays. And so Keenan Allen, I mean, how many teams can actually say that their wide receiver 3 right now is better than Keenan Allen? All right. I mean, even the team I just mentioned, my Buccaneers, will take Keenan Allen. Sure. Make Jalen McMillan the wide receiver 4. I don't care. Highly doubt that would happen. But you've got a number of teams out there. I mean, think the Cowboys could take him. I don't know if that schematically works well with CeeDee Lamb, but the Chargers definitely could take him back. They already brought Mike Williams back now on a discount from what they would have paid on his old contract. They might do the same thing with Keenan Allen. I'd say, I'm trying to think, like I don't know that the Broncos would take him because they kind of have a very good role-playing situation there with what they have. The Chiefs could take him with Rashee Rice's questionable situation. There's just a number of teams out there, honestly, and especially contending teams, because I'm sure Keenan Allen is playing for a ring right now, more so than just a paycheck. So look for a playoff team to sign Keenan Allen more than likely before the NFL draft. So I don't think we'll have to wait long for that one to happen. I definitely see Keenan as better than the next guy I want to talk about. That's Amari Cooper. And so Cooper still has some left in the tank. I wouldn't, again, put him down into the DeAndre Hopkins range of being washed. He did all right in Buffalo, but nothing spectacular. Now, he came over to Buffalo mid-season after the trade from Cleveland, getting out of that shit show. But Amari was never really able to find his footing there with Josh Allen. So he's going to probably move on, not go back there. I mean, the Bills did sign Josh Palmer already, so I don't see much room there for him. But, who knows? Jets? I don't know that he wants to catch passes from Justin Fields, though. I would look for Keenan Allen to go somewhere with a good quarterback, as same for Amari Cooper. But Cooper has a lot of situations as well where he could still help out. Hell, he could even go back to his old home in Dallas, right? Or the Raiders' new home, Las Vegas. So many options there for both of those two. Also out there is technically Stephon Diggs. Now, Diggs was injured last season, so I don't know who's going to be banging down the doors over Stephon Diggs. We know he's got a little bit more diva in him than, say, Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper, but the fact is the guy's a winner, all right? And so he's going to want to win. And so I could see him signing with another contending team just to add some nice, solid depth to the wide receiver room. Even if he isn't going to be back right away in the beginning of the season, if he misses the first 6 games, fine. He'll come back and be ready to go and give that winning attitude. And that, I know he's an aggressive diva, but he wants the ball. He wants to win. And so wouldn't be shocked if he goes back to Houston. Now the Texans did trade for Christian Kirk, so he doesn't necessarily have to go there. But yeah, I would expect all 3 of these dudes, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Stephon Diggs, to probably sign before the draft. Maybe not Diggs because of the injury, but again, you could see some teams waiting to see what they're able to grab in the NFL draft. I know a lot of the receivers like Buka, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, they may be taken in the late first round. Matthew Golden, maybe not because of his 40 time, of course, that could bump him up. But the other two, especially Buka and Luther Burden, those are guys that teams are eyeing up in the late first round. So they may wait to see if they land one of those two. If not, then they'll go the route of free agency. But those are 3 wide receivers. We still have J.K. Dobbins at running back. So we'll see there what Dobbins decides to do. Pittsburgh would be an ironic landing spot. You'd basically have Najee and J.K. Dobbins flip-flopping there. But that is what Pittsburgh needs. If you've got Jaylen Warren out there, I'd be looking to sell because I do not buy into Pittsburgh giving a full load to Jaylen Warren. No chance at all. There is too many good first and second down grinders for rookie running backs this year that are out there that the Steelers could just wait on and grab in the 4th, 5th, even 6th round. I'm talking guys like Ollie Gordon could slide, Damian Martinez from Miami, Devin Neal from Kansas. All of those guys would be perfect fits for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense with Arthur Smith. There's no way Arthur Smith has never had a total bell cow. Even when he had Bijan Robinson, he was giving the ball too much to Tyler Algier. I mean, come on, people. Think here, all right? This goes into the running back situation as a whole. When we're talking the running backs, the rookie running backs, especially here with the draft coming up, I see a lot of people, trying to play matchmaker and fit a square peg into a square hole, right? A team needs help at running back, so boom, they're going to take one in the 1st or 2nd round. some teams just don't value the running back situation. I mean, look at the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones blatantly came out last year and said, I'm going to find the cheapest guys to play this position because I don't value it. And yet everybody is trying to smash Ashton Genty into the Cowboys' laps. Even if Genty goes to the Raiders at pick 6, then they're trying to have them draft Omarion Hampton. The Cowboys have other needs, okay? They would be much better suited grabbing linemen at 12 and then rolling with what they've got and maybe pick up another bum free agent running back. And I mean, who's to say they don't bring in J.K. Dobbins? Okay. The point is, certain teams don't value the running back situation, whereas other teams do. The Baltimore Ravens, they will probably draft another running back in the top 3 rounds. Okay. I'm almost willing to bet on that. All right. I know that look at the last couple of years. Last year, they drafted Rasheen Ali. Year before, it was Keaton Mitchell. Okay. The San Francisco 49ers, they've got Christian McCaffrey. They just unloaded Jordan Mason, and they still have Garendo and Patrick Taylor there. And I guarantee they don't want Patrick Taylor as their running back 3 going into the season. They want him on the practice squad. They're going to draft somebody probably in the top 3 or 4 rounds. Almost guarantee it. And people are going to be like, what are they drafting a running? They don't need a running. No, their system, just like the Miami Dolphins as well. I would not be surprised when Dylan Sampson goes to the Miami Dolphins in round 3. Okay. You guys have to understand, the teams don't draft by need. They draft the talent that they evaluate. Some teams value the running back position more than other teams. Some teams draft wide receivers all the time. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they draft them all the time. Now, this year, they went out and acquired DK Metcalf, which was out of character for them. Usually, they let the dudes play for their rookie contract and then let them go. Deontay Johnson. Antonio Brown, they did sign, but of course, he forced his way out the door. But the point being, they like to draft their wide receivers. The Green Bay Packers, I guarantee the Packers will draft a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round of this draft. Okay. They need to draft. I mean, they should be trying to grab one of the elite 4 wide receivers in this draft, but that's not what they do. They try to draft and develop. They try to develop a not elite diva wide receiver and try to develop them into a number 1. So just keep that in mind, and you'll be happy in the end when you draft trying to think of a good example just off the top. Okay, let's say a Quinshon Judkins goes to Jacksonville, right? And you're like, they already have Etienne and Tank Bigsby. What are they? No, they're drafting Judkins because they think he's better than those 2. And Liam Cohen values some talent at the running back position. All right. So even in Tampa, I wouldn't be shocked. We have 3 running backs on a rookie contract, so I don't know that we're going to do that, but just about every team is going to draft a running back in this talent-rich class. Just some teams are eyeing them up more in the first 3 rounds, and the other teams are going to be more than happy to wait to grab them in rounds 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So that's just the way it is, and keep that in mind when you are drafting your players in redraft. Just because they're in a crowded running back room, if these rookies are more talented than them, talent's going to win out. And by the second half of the season, these rookies are going to take over that are more talented than their fellow veteran running backs. They just have to learn, pass protection and some schematics of the playbook, and talent does win out. Just go back and look at Nick Chubb's career. Okay. and how many people were scared off of him because Carlos Hyde is there. Oh my God. All right. So if you haven't already, please try to hit that little like button that's down below. We're just under 100 subscribers, so hit the subscribe as well. Again, I mentioned in the last show, we'll give a free roster review to the 100th subscriber. Matt and I did a couple of roster reviews last week. Oh, and we've got breaking news here. The Cincinnati Bengals have, well, signed one of their receivers. Oh, no, both of them. They agreed to 4-year, $161 million extension with Jamar Chase and a 4-year, $115 million extension with T. Higgins. Wow, that is nice for all you T. Higgins owners out there. I know that some of you may have wanted him to go somewhere else to be an alpha, but dude, you got Joe Burrow hooked up for the next 4 years. This is literally Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne with Peyton Manning all over again. Like, T. Higgins, I know, has been injured, so I don't know that he's going to have quite the Hall of Fame career maybe that Reggie Wayne did. But if he can stay healthy and they can win a Super Bowl, it may be on the horizon. Now, the Bengals, just like the Colts had to do, they've got to figure out and be savvy with the other positions. But this is a monster. This is great for the franchise because now Joe Burrow is happy and he believes that this is unprecedented for the Bengals to do. Honestly, the Bengals as a franchise typically don't do something like this. And this is really great to see, honestly. You like to see a family atmosphere with these football teams. I personally don't love seeing teams got players skipping from team to team to team. I like it when I see family atmospheres develop across the NFL. So this is just great to see, honestly. So big up to the Bengals, and very good news for you Joe Burrow owners out there, because now he's got Chase and Higgins locked up for the next 4 seasons. That is nice. So Joe Burrow may not be quite on that elite level tier of Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, but he is right there behind them. I mean, there is no pocket passer on the level of Joe Burrow, especially when he's got Chase and Higgins locked up. So big news. Glad I was able to break it to you. Hope you all enjoyed that. Tomorrow night, we're going to have our mock draft Monday, and I probably will not have the Bengals drafting a wide receiver in that. And also Wednesday, Matt English and I are going to be doing a full free agent wrap up. Hopefully we'll have a spot for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers playing chicken with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know who's holding out on who here. And then we have Russell Wilson visiting the Browns and the Giants as well. Rodgers could end up in New York if Russ doesn't sign there. I don't know. There's a lot of mayhem still to be had in the NFL free agency period, and we'll be here to bring it all to you in the birdhouse. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And remember, folks, never stop working.